Assalamu alaikum and hello. Welcome back to Healing Aspirations with Amani. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a chemical engineer by profession and a holistic dental health coach by passion. And my mission is to help mothers heal their children's tooth decay and help them develop beautiful broad jaws that accommodate 32 resilient teeth. So today I wanted to take the time to talk about this question here. Which toothpaste do you recommend? I get this question very often. Is this a good remineralizing toothpaste? Is this toothpaste good for my 1-year-old? Is this toothpaste safe to swallow? All types of questions. That's the first thing that comes to people's minds, to moms' minds, when they see tooth decay in their little ones' mouths. They're like, okay, I got to change my toothpaste, okay? Now, although toothpaste is an important part of your oral hygiene regimen, I'm here to tell you that even before you get to this question, something else you should be asking yourself is, why does your child have tooth decay to begin with? Okay. Most people, when they're struggling with tooth decay issues, are wondering, what should I do? How should I do it? But I'm here to tell you, when you actually ask the question why, you're going to get further you're going to get a lot further ahead than if you actually, focus on the details of which toothpaste recommendations. Now, so let's talk about that, okay? And what I'm going to do is to help you understand this from a more holistic perspective. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to be raw with you, I'm going to be vulnerable with you, and share with you something really intimate that I've been through myself. And I'm going to do that by telling you a story, okay? So once upon a time, long, long ago, when Amani wasn't a holistic dental health coach, Amani was a young woman who was really, really struggling with her skin. And if you actually look at my history, what catapulted me to be where I am today was my never-ending quest for figuring out why I had acne, okay? And for those of you that know my story, or may not know my story, I'm going to share it with you right now. When I was, shortly before I turned 12 years of age, I fell off my bike and shattered my 3 front teeth, adult teeth. And subsequently, I had 3 root canals done on those 3 front teeth. And ever since, that was the defining moment in my life that had forever changed the trajectory of what was happening with me. And what's interesting is my first ever pimple was just a couple of months after I had those root canals done. And out of my entire family, I was the only one that was struggling with acne. So anyhow, the acne started initially with like this big one right here in between my eyebrows. Then it progressed to my nose. Then the acne went to my forehead in grade 8, then my chin in grade 9, and then it started going on my cheeks. And it's slowly but surely got worse and worse with each time. So anyhow, I was really frustrated because I would see other women with glowing skin, and they don't even really do any sort of regimen with their face. They don't really squash their face. They don't do anything. But yet they still had amazing, flawless skin, right? And here I was spending so much money on different types of products, salicylic acid-based washes, I've done the proactive solution. It got to a point where I did a course of tetracycline, which is an antibiotic that's recommended when you have acne. Didn't really see much difference. And then one day, in a short period of time, when I was really, really stressed in one of my years in chemical engineering, my face just exploded and nothing worked. Anything that I ever used as a crutch failed, and that included Proactive. At one point, Proactive used to work for me and then just didn't anymore. And so I went to my doctor, and my doctor wanted to prescribe for me Accutane. And that was one thing that I just couldn't fathom to do, because when we had gotten married, I didn't want to go on birth control. I didn't believe in birth control. Even though I wasn't yet a holistic, crunchy person to begin with, that was just something I knew instinctively in my heart I didn't want to go there. And the doctor said if I was to go on Accutane, I would have to go on hormonal birth control pills and use different types of contraception and whatnot, because God forbid, if I got pregnant while I was on Accutane, there would be high risk that the child in my womb would develop severe birth defects. So anyhow, I didn't go with that. And I kept searching and searching for different types of things that I could do, right? And I went further into topical forms for treating my acne. And one of those forms was actually getting chemical peels done, okay? So at one point, I think it was during the last year of my university, I was getting chemical peels done on a regular basis every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks or so. And you might be wondering, no, why are you talking about chemical peels? I thought we're talking about toothpaste, but I'm going to show you the connection now, okay? So I started getting them done every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, and sure enough, it was working nicely. My face was getting brighter, less lesions, previous scarring was getting better, but it didn't stop the acne from coming, right? So yes, I was treating it superficially, the acne with these chemical peels, but it didn't do anything to stop new eruptions from coming, okay? Again, this is way back before I was thinking about anything like this. Now, keep in mind, by the time I got to doing the chemical peels, this was after 2 years of having changed my diet, because I had left my doctor after he told me I had to go on Accutane. I was like, there's got to be a way other than Accutane to heal my acne. And so what I ended up doing was I changed my diet. This was when I first saw the link between diet and your skin, diet and whatever's going on inside your body. And so I quit sugar, I quit processed foods, I started cooking everything from scratch, all the things my mom was telling me to be doing anyways. But when I got married, I was like, oh, I'm going to do things my way. And I loved the taste of processed foods. They were so yummy, so addictive, and what have you, because of things like MSG and additives and whatnot. So anyhow, although my acne had improved significantly with the change of my diet, there were still certain things that I hadn't addressed, right? I didn't know yet about the toxicity of mercury amalgam fillings. I didn't know about the toxicity of root canals. I didn't know about how much havoc I had wreaked on my gut by succumbing to my doctor's recommendation of, okay, well, given you can't do Accutane, why don't you take this course of antibiotics? I was prescribed erythromycin. He wanted me to do 6 months of erythromycin, okay? I did 3 months and not a single change in my acne. And he was like shocked. He was like, okay, that's it. You really should be doing Accutane. But I was like, nope. And that was the last time I saw him. So like I said, I changed my diet. There was an improvement, but there was still some stuff going on. Like it wasn't completely gone. And so that's why I decided to do these chemical peels. But like I said, yes, I was doing the chemical peels. Yes, my skin was getting better, but it didn't stop the actual acne from continuing to happen, right? And I would be restricted to having to do these chemical peels forever in order to actually treat the acne. And like I said, it didn't prevent future lesions from happening. So why am I giving you this example? I'm giving you this example to let you know that this question that you're asking, which toothpaste do you recommend? Which one should I use for my toddler? They've got cavities. Do you have something that they can swallow? This, that, the other thing. Before you even go here, you should be asking yourself, why does your child have tooth decay to begin with? That's the question you should be asking. What is that root cause? And for each child, it's going to be something different, right? How many times do I get moms who say, my teeth were perfectly fine, until recently, right? So probably after a couple of pregnancies, right, they've become depleted. And that's when they started having issues with their mouths. Or perhaps their first child, she gave, you may have given your child anything and everything when they were a baby and nothing happened. You gave them sugar. You weren't very restrictive in your diet with them. No cavities. And then your second kid comes, whoa, like their mouth is riddled with cavities. Why? Okay. So why am I saying this? Because when you're trying to heal tooth decay, again, most people are thinking about the how, they're thinking about the what, they're thinking about what I should do. What can I put on the teeth so that they can remineralize? But I'm here to tell you, you're better off putting time and effort and money into actually getting to the root cause and actually providing this holistic healing on an internal systemic level. Because at the end of the day, tooth decay is a sign of some serious imbalance going on in your child's body. Okay, and this goes for anybody. Okay, there's an imbalance that's going on. Instead of that dentinal fluid that's within the teeth that gives them that nourishment, instead of that dentinal fluid going from within the blood, from the bloodstream to the actual connection to the teeth and going from in and out to actually put these droplets of minerals onto the enamel and constantly be in a state of remineralization. Instead, the body has said, okay, I don't have enough. I only have so much. And there are things inside this body that are a lot more critical than these teeth, such as the brain, such as the heart, such as, you know what I mean? And so they're going to be leaching from these teeth, okay? So you're better off, like I said, actually getting that dentinal fluid to actually go in the right direction, because currently, if your child is struggling with tooth decay, it means that dentinal fluid is in reverse mode. it's leaching minerals from the teeth. You want to get it back into that flowing mode where it's actually providing nourishment for the teeth, right? So in other words, you really want to nourish your teeth and gums, and that's what you want to do for your child. Having said that, toothpaste is important to a certain extent. I'm going to show you why. So right now, let's backtrack to my example of acne, okay? Now, let's say I get to the root cause of my acne and I actually, solve it on a systemic level and there's no more lesions. That's awesome, right? But nothing's wrong with, at that point, using, some safe topicals to actually, rejuvenate the skin, to let it get brighter, to help with the scarring, to kind of smooth out the texture, this, that, the other thing, using ingredients that cause no harm, first and foremost, that don't do actually anything to actually harm the skin in the sense that actually causes the skin to produce more oil or to get clogged or to become irritated. And I'll give you a very simple example. And again, why am I talking about acne? Because I'm going to show you how it's connected to tooth decay and toothpaste. So let's say, like I said, I solve whatever heavy metal toxicity I have inside my body. Let's say I actually balance my gut microbiome. I improve my digestive fire, all those different things. My skin is going to stop having these eruptions, inshallah, God willing, right? And then what's going to happen is if I'm using safe topicals, I'm actually going to further enhance, the appearance and how things look like and rejuvenate the skin from an outside perspective, but not before I deal things from an internal perspective. So going back to these products, how many times, and I think these things are banned now, but at one point in time in the skincare industry, exfoliation was the rage, right? Exfoliate your skin, right? Remove that outer dead layer, what have you. And they would use these products that have those little plastic beads. And I went on those. I used to, scrub my skin, all in the name of, exfoliating my skin, getting rid of that layer in the hopes that this is actually going to help my acne, would actually make things worse, right? Because just because you're dealing with acne and it looks so horrific doesn't mean you need something harsh to treat it. You actually need to treat it more gently. Similarly with teeth that are decaying, you don't want to be harsh in their treatment. You want to be gentle with them, right? And so, like I said, I think those beads, those plastic beads, have been banned because of the impact they had on the environment, on the aquatic systems, on fish, all sorts of different things. And if you think about it, they're just way too harsh, right? When you are trying to take care of your teeth, you don't want to be doing something. You're not scrubbing a grout line when you're cleaning your teeth, right? You want to gently polish your teeth, and you want to gently stimulate those gums, okay? But most people, they're just way too harsh when brushing their teeth, and they use very strong products, abrasive products, all in the name of, this is, natural, and this is organic, and this is crunchy, and this is holistic, even though it's probably none of those things, you know what I mean? So I've talked about this before. If you look in my video profile on the page, you'll notice I've talked about, different types of holistic or healthy tooth fads that people use to heal their teeth and are actually harmful. Things like activated charcoal, which is extremely abrasive. Another one that's really, really popular is oil pulling with coconut oil. Coconut oil is extremely astringent, right? A lot of times people think, I gotta kill all that bacteria in there, but you actually need a healthy level of bacteria. You need to balance your oral microbiome in order for you to heal tooth decay. So it's not always about kill. You actually want to nourish some of that great bacteria, which actually prevents tooth decay, right? Or like I said, just scrubbing too hard, or using toothbrushes that don't have the best design in order to actually clean areas properly inside your mouth, right? So similarly, like I said, you can see the similarity between, not using harsh products on your skin when you're treating acne. You want to treat it gently, but not before treating things on a systemic level, right? Because that's what's going to get you results, right? The primary way you're going to achieve healing is by working things on an internal level. And then the icing on the cake is that superficial stuff that you use, such as the toothpaste. You know what I mean? So, and for those of you that are just new to my page, I highly recommend the Miswak, the original toothbrush. Why? Because with Miswak, it's the toothbrush and toothpaste in one. right? It's vegan. I know a lot of you sometimes are looking for vegan options. Many times, dental health products or oral hygiene products, they contain animal-derived ingredients. And if you don't want that, this is the perfect alternative. It's biodegradable. So if you're trying to minimize your impact on the earth, this is the way to go. And what's so cool about it is you've got a unique bristle design where the bristles are actually on the same axis as the handle, right? Whereas the modern toothbrush, it's perpendicular. So this gives you an interesting way to heal your teeth. And some people might criticize the miswak, saying, it's not really practical, or it's difficult to maneuver. No, this is what people used to use before, toothpaste and toothbrushes. Those things have only been around for like 200-300 years maximum. You know what I mean? And even then, I'm pushing it. This has been around for a long, long time. And when you use something like the miswak, you're actually going to be forced to brush your teeth consciously. How many of us are, when you're brushing your teeth, it's just something you do at the back of your head, just unconsciously doing it. You're not paying attention, and you may actually be overly harsh with your technique and actually cause damage. Whether it's to your enamel by over scrubbing, or by being too harsh along the gum line and causing recession, things like that, or even doing some cuts unintentionally. And so I highly recommend the miswak. The other thing most people complain about is the taste, okay? Keep in mind here in North America and the modern developed Western world, whatever you want to call it, we have an aversion to natural tastes, right? We're so used to processed foods, artificial flavors, artificial coloring, artificial what have you, and things in their natural state are just considered repulsive, or they don't taste good. You know what I mean? We'd rather eat a bag of chips rather eat some broccoli. You know what I mean? We'd rather eat a chocolate bar rather than just enjoy some fresh, local, organic, in-season fruit. Things like that, right? So if they're using it for this first time and you're finding it difficult, that's okay. But know that your taste buds can change, and it might be just, developing your palates. You know what I mean? Don't get put off by that. And especially if you're a mother, and especially right now, let's say you're a pregnant mother, okay? I highly recommend you get on this baby from now. Why? Because studies have shown that the more flavors a woman exposes herself during her pregnancy, the more likely her baby is going to be open to these flavors, right? So if you're going to be eating junk food throughout your pregnancy, you've primed your baby to crave those same foods that you're eating, right? But if you open up your palate and you eat more vegetables, you eat a more diverse diet, and you start incorporating things like the miswak, the baby's already going to be used to the flavor of miswak. So by the time they're ready to use it, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a big shock. And you actually might find out that they're completely open to it even more than you were, right? So this leads to another point of mine is, let's say you're a woman who's not even dealing with any health issues yourself or any tooth decay issues yourself, and you're coming to me with your child. One thing you're going to notice about me is I'm going to tell you you're as much a part of this healing process as your child is, right? So whatever recommendations I give your child, a lot of times you're going to have to be doing them as well. You know what I mean? Because I'm really passionate about heal the mother to heal the baby, right? Because they came from you. And even if you're not aware of it now, most likely there are some imbalances that your baby has inherited from you, and you got to work on yourself. Okay? So make sure you start on this. And if you are looking for a natural, safe to swallow, safe to use oral hygiene product for your child, I would recommend this one, the miswak. But please do it while you're don't just give your child the miswak and let them go off, right? Because, with babies, you never know, or toddlers, you never know what they're going to be up to. And you want to be doing it, letting them use it in your supervision so you can see that they're using properly, they're not doing anything else, right? And I encourage you, let your baby, your toddler, chew on it. Like, the benefits is the chewing, right? It releases the compounds in the miswak, right? And let your baby see you using it, like, actively and enjoying it. And we're cleaning our teeth. And imagine if you're letting your toddler at the age of 1.5 years, 2 years to be using this, you're setting them up for life to know that taking care of their teeth is something that's enjoyable. It's something that's social. It's something that's nice. It's positive, right? Instead of them growing up associating anything that has to do with teeth as something traumatic and horrific and horrible. It feels icky and I don't like it. And it feels invasive, right? And especially around that toddler year of age, 2 years of age, this is when they want their they're kind of asserting their autonomy, they're asserting their presence, they're asserting like their own independence, right? Let them use the miswak. You know, here you go, mom, use it. And you're using it, and they're like, wow, this is awesome. You know what I mean? The psychology behind it is super, super important, right? Let go of that fear. Let it be something positive. Let it be something, you know, autonomous, something they have control over, right? Because who wants to be controlled by somebody else? Nobody likes that. You know what I mean? And your child intuitively doesn't like that either, right? Now, this doesn't mean just leave your child be. And no, actually, part of my coaching program is I actually go over how you should get your child to get better brushing habits, but you should be able to get in there as well. But there's a nice way of doing it, and there's a not so nice way of doing it, right? So you want to foster a good relationship with your child about oral hygiene and taking care of their teeth and gums. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know for you at this point in time. Have you tried? Like, let me know in the comments. First of all, are you watching live? Let me know if you're watching live. Type live in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, type the replay. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you've already tried it so far, how you found it, if there's any questions you have in particular about miswak. Before I've talked about what's cool about it is not just the bristle design, but the fact that it has all these different types of compounds that work synergistically together. So what's cool about it is it inhibits the Streptococcus mutans bacteria, which is implicated in tooth decay, yet it leaves the lactobacillus alone, which is super cool, right? Most of the time when you're using antimicrobials, they're indiscriminate, they just destroy everything in sight. Not so with miswak. And the other thing I wanted to mention is a lot of times with oral hygiene products, especially natural ones, they use a lot of essential oils. And with essential oils, you have to be careful because essential oils are very, very potent substances. And just because something is natural, and I've said this before, it doesn't mean it's safe. It doesn't mean it works for everyone. And it doesn't mean it comes without any consequences. So one thing I like that I've heard before from the herbalist, Susan Weed, is she explained about essential oils and their impact on mitochondria, okay? On the mitochondria and the cells. And she explained it beautifully. I will at one point share the link of the audio file online that she talks about this, but I'm just going to summarize it briefly, paraphrase it briefly. So what she explained is, hey Asha, great to have you, hon. She explains, Susan Weed, that each of our cells has a lipid boundary, right? So lipid means what? Fat. And those membranes are actually what define one cell from another one, okay? And one thing about essential oils is they are destructive to fats. So think about it. If you've ever spilled an essential oil on a table, you'll notice it'll destroy the finish, right? If it goes on something plastic, it'll melt the plastic, right? And, you know, it's not like you need scientific proof to see. Like, it's there in front of your naked eye. It's not like you need some scientific journal article to know that it does this. It's right there in front of you, right? But let's say you do have access to a microscope and you put some essential oil on a cell, you would notice that it would destroy the cell membrane, and then it would go after the mitochondria. The thing is with essential oils is they're different from the plant that they came from in the sense that they are no longer plant medicines. This is what I love how she explained it, Susan Weed, right? Instead, they're drugs. And why does she say they're drugs? Because if you think about it, drugs are plants that have been extracted, concentrated, and purified, right? Prime example is aspirin from willow, okay? So when you take a plant product and you extract the essential oil out of it, that is just no longer that complete whole plant-based medicine. It's a drug now, right? And it's harmful on many different levels, right? It's destructive to the immune system. It's got hormone-like effects. Think of BPA, you know what I mean? And from an ecological, earth-based perspective, it's not really healthy. I mean, if you think about, 1 ounce of lavender essential oil, it takes 1,000 pounds of lavender in order to create to get that 1 ounce, you know what I mean? Or I think I've read before, it takes 1,000 petals of rose to create 1 drop of rose essential oil, okay? But instead of using these concentrated essential oils, and then you have to dilute them, right? How many times do you see, you have to dilute it because, it would burn your skin if you use it neat, with very few exceptions. You know what I mean? And especially with babies, you really want to be careful with babies and essential oils. And this is why when it comes to toothpaste recommendations, I would say be careful with toothpaste that have a lot of essential oils or a very strong sense of essential oils, right? Because you don't want to you don't want to kill too much in your baby's mouth. Yes, they are natural essential oils, but again, it doesn't mean they don't have any effects, right? So instead of using the concentrated essential oils, right, you can do something like a mouthwash at home, right? A mouthwash where you put different types of herbs together. You can do rosemary, you can use sage, steep it for a few hours, and you can use that as a mouthwash. You know what I mean? But we're so used to, mint, menthol, camphor, all those different types of strong scents in toothpaste, and we think something's wrong with the toothpaste if it doesn't have those flavors, right? So when you think about Miswak, it has a different flavor and it seems strong, especially when you first use it. But remember, this is the whole plant, right? I haven't taken anything and extracted it and purified it and concentrated it, none of that. You're getting the benefit of the plant. So there's resins in Miswak. Yes, there's essential oils, but they're bound and intact within the whole bark, right? There's different types of minerals. There's even vitamin C, all those different things. They work synergistically, right? And this is why, going back to Miswak, there's nothing else like it in the market, because it's like a toothpaste and toothbrush in one, and it's just plain awesome. So honestly, like, if there's one thing you got to get out of me, use the Miswak, okay? So anyhow, going back to essential oils, be careful from using products that have very strong essential oils. And if somebody tells you, essential oils are awesome and you can consume them and ingest them, I completely disagree with that statement, right? Because of the fact that they can cause so much harm at the mitochondrial level, right? Just because something's natural doesn't mean it's safe, right? And if you think about it, that's why whenever you're trying to heal your teeth, I encourage you to focus on nutrient-dense foods, right? Before you go to supplements. Am I anti-supplements? I'm not, but they have a context, and they should be taken under the guidance of a practitioner who knows what they're doing, right? Because you can cause some serious imbalances, right? Same thing with essential oils, right? Because it's so concentrated, it doesn't come with the entire energy of the plant. It doesn't come with the entire essence of the plant. Inadvertently, you're going to be causing some imbalances with that. So be careful with what you're using. Right now, I'm going to be going shortly in my women's only exclusive Facebook group, and I'm going to be doing a live Q&A session. So if you're not part of the group, be sure to join us. And I'm going to give a few specific recommendations on gentle toothpaste that are, not very strong in their sense. But again, my first recommendation is the Miswak, okay? Questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Post them in the comments below, or you can private message me if you like. And if you haven't joined the group, join it. Also, if you haven't accessed my no nonsense guide to remineralize teeth for ambitious mothers, be sure you check out, I think if you look at my cover photo above on the Facebook page, you'll be able to find the link to download your copy, where I give you recommendations based on food and nutrition, which is the foundation to start remineralizing your child's teeth. With that, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, keep on smiling because it looks great on you. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.